Hey guys, welcome back. So in this section we're going to be going over lambda expressions and how you can use them more effectively in your programs. So to start, we're going to look at the builder pattern. So I created this person class and it's pretty straightforward. We're going to store the person's name and we're going to store their, let's just stick with their name for now. We also want to store their age, and then we also want to store their address. Let's create another class inside of here for their address, just because we can. And we'll have, let's see here, mcity, state, and okay, I guess we'll need, let's see here, street, street, so we'll need the street address. We'll need the city, and then we'll need the state, and we'll leave country off for now. Let's just assume that the person lives in the US. So then street, city, state, street is equal to street, mcity is equal to city, mstate is equal to state. Okay, so now let's see here. This guy right there. Eclipse isn't being. Oh, oops. String. Okay. There we go. And now what we're going to do is let's make the person constructor. So this is the traditional approach, right? We would pass in the name, we would pass in the age, and then we would pass in an address. Man, should be an int. And then we have our brackets, and now we use the setters, right? Should all be a review. Name is equal to name, and age. Let's just call this age, which is equal to age. Okay, and then address is equal to address. Alright, straightforward. Now to construct the person, it's simple. We just do person is equal to person, Willie, 20, new address. Drive. City. And the state is just New York. One more. And okay, I mean that works. Oh, let's okay, I have to import it. No, that's not gonna work. We just have to do this. Oh man, it's not static. So then person address. Alright. So it worked, but I mean this is very verbose and it's easy to get the order of the parameters mixed up, and if we had even more parameters it could be even more confusing. So this is where the builder pattern really shines. What we can do instead of this is we can just create another class called let's see here, public static class person builder, or no, we can just call it builder. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a bunch of setters in here. So public void name. Actually, let's. So now what we can do is we want to store these same variables. We could literally just do this actually. And then what we want to do is we just do public void name, name is equal to name, age age, then public void address address, and then finally address is equal to address. And then we have the special function that we create called create. And what this function does is it returns a new person given the name, the age, and then the address of address. Okay, one more thing we need to actually do, I forgot, is we need to return a builder. You'll see why we need to do this in just a bit. So I'm gonna have this one use the format we should use, and then the other ones not use the format, just to demonstrate why we need to return the current instance. Okay, so this is the traditional approach, right? Now compare it to this approach. Person builder person is equal to new person dot builder dot, and then what was the method called? It was called name. So if we call this method called name, because we're returning the current instance, because we're returning this, which is another builder, we can immediately call one of the other functions, like address, and then we can pass in an address. Or maybe, no, address isn't such a good one for this example, maybe age. Age is better. So now we can pass in age. The problem is, because we're not returning the current instance, we're not able to continually chain the calls. This is what it's called. It's called method chaining. We're not able to chain the calls because we're not actually returning anything. We're going to get a compiler error if we attempt to call any more methods. So if we wanted to do that, we would have to put it in another variable up here, and that kind of just defeats the whole purpose of using method chaining. And then we could do builder.create, and then we would have to remove this. Create, come on, get rid of this guy, and then we would do builder.set builder.age 20, and then we could do it, and then we could create the person. So alternatively, we can just do this. We can return the builder for each of these guys. Same thing for here. And so now it becomes very easy. Now we just have to do .name, .age, then .address. And okay, so now we can construct an address using the traditional approach, but we can use what we've learned and now use the builder approach by nesting yet another class inside of here. So let's see, we're getting a compiler error. Why is that? Let me make this not public. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to nest yet another class in here, static class address builder. We'll just call this builder again. Builder. Same approach, we just copy these variables, and then we do public builder straight. So let's see here, then we would do straight is equal to straight. In this case, it doesn't really make too much sense to use a builder just because we're only taking in 3 parameters for our address. But if our address was maybe we required maybe 10 parameters, then it makes a lot more sense to use this builder pattern, just because it makes your code a little easier to read, or actually a lot easier to read when you have that many parameters. City is equal to city, return this, and then one more. I just need to make sure, yeah, okay, we're referring to correct builder, and then let's do state. Okay, and now we're good. Now what we do is we just do new address dot builder dot, let's see here. So we construct the builder. Let's see here, why isn't it address? Our builder, maybe we need to start typing. Okay, so I guess The error is that we're not including the person in front of there. Alright, yeah, perfect. So we need one more method down here where we return the address. So in order to return the address, what we do is we create a function called create, and then we just do return new address given the street, city, and state. And now okay, so now the street is going to be maybe, well, let's just copy these same values that are up here. And then state, and then, oh, I guess that was messed up. So this one should actually be city, and then this guy should be state, and then New York. So note another potential problem with, or I guess one potential problem using the builder pattern. If you have required parameters, if you have some parameters that are required, then you're not really enforcing that by using the builder pattern, because someone can just leave that guy off. Someone can leave the city off, and now you have a bit of a problem because you don't have any city data. So another rule of thumb is to use the builder pattern only when you have optional parameters and when you have many of these optional parameters. If you have required parameters, then you should actually pretty much always just put them inside of a constructor. Okay, so now we finally need our create method call, and okay, we need one more create because now we need to actually create the person. Oh man, yeah, we actually need to create the person. So let's see here. That's all good, and now we can just do builder person, or yeah, we can just leave it at that. If we wanted to, we could add in some getters so we could actually print the values of these, but I think you guys get the general idea or the gist of what's going on here. Anyways, so why are we learning this? Like, why does it make sense just besides cleaning up our code? Why would we ever want to use this builder pattern? Well, lambda expressions, if you remember them, they are pretty useful, and we can use them effectively with something called streams, and those use the builder pattern. So we need to actually understand how this works before we can understand how that works. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next lecture. We're going to dive into lambda expressions and filtering and all that good stuff. Alright, see you guys then.